Freudenberger, CEO for OakBend Medical Center, coming to you today with another Cup of Joe. My proverbial cup is in hand, so you can imagine it. I'm joined here by our chief of our Richmond Fire Department, and we're going to talk about firework safety as the 4th of July approaches, and some of us may not know all the rules of the road. And while I would love for your business to come into our emergency department, I prefer for you not to have an accident and need the use of our emergency department, which is, by the way, in no way an emergency department. So, Chief, if you could start us off and tell us a little bit about what are some of the most common fireworks-related emergencies that you see on these events, like coming up the 4th of July.
Well, this time of year, we typically see a lot of burns,
Okay.
extremity injuries, and injuries to the eye and other parts of the head.
Okay, that eyes don't sound good to me. I
No.
don't like my eyes getting injured. I can do a burn, that'll repair itself, but eyes can be permanent, can they not?
Anything could be permanent. Burns can be bad enough that, they could definitely do some permanent damage. But,
Okay.
man, your eyes, that's the one thing that you really can't repair or replace if something happens.
So tell me about some of the mistakes that my brother-in-law has probably made that I didn't know he was making, and I'm watching and putting myself at risk. What are some of the common fireworks mistakes that people make?
The most common one is probably improper disposal.
Okay.
So the fireworks are used, and you think that they're cooled off and they're out, and people will put them in a trash can with other flammable items.
Oh, not good.
No, not good at all. And oftentimes that trash can goes right in the garage.
Uh-oh.
And over time, the fireworks will smolder and ignite other materials and ignite the trash can, ignite the house, and then we got a much larger problem.
Much bigger problem.
Right.
Yes. Now we're calling out the fire department. This is bad. This is bad. So speaking of eyes and ears, what are the things that you guys recommend we do to protect eyes and ears when shooting off fireworks? Because, the bang is half the fun. So if I got to put ear protection in, I'm not going to get the bang.
Yeah, and ear protection is probably one of the better ways. Some safety glasses
Okay.
can help protect your eyes. I know that's a hassle and does take away from some of the experience, but it is part of what's important. If you're just not going to do that stuff, distance is your friend.
Okay.
Keeping these things as far away from your ears, eyes, hair, body as possible will definitely help in preventing any kind of injury should things go awry.
So is the eye protection for everybody that's observing the fireworks, or just for the person that is shooting off the fireworks?
I would say mostly for the person that's actually shooting the fireworks. It's in close proximity.
Okay.
But it would be the most important.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So what do we do if a firework malfunctions and doesn't discharge as expected or go off?
Definitely don't try to relight it.
Okay. Note to self. Don't relight.
Right. So, if you've attempted to light it and it didn't go off, the fuse has probably been shortened.
Okay.
Maybe non-existent at this point. And
so it could go boom in my hand.
Right. The fuses are designed to provide some time between lighting and explosion. And, if you try to light what essentially is a dud, it might go off unexpectedly quicker than you think, and maybe closer to you than you would like. So, again, when one doesn't go off, you want to give it some time, give it some distance, allow it to sit there and cool for probably 20 or 30 minutes. And then ultimately you want to put it in a bucket of water to finish the job.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, let's talk about injuries and the gravity of injuries, how significant and serious. Because, if you've been around, a few years, you probably burned yourself once or twice, maybe on a hot pot or something, and you put some ice on it, you put some a salve on it or what have you, and you put a Band-Aid on it and off you go. So what signifies an injury that requires immediate medical attention versus one that and you probably won't have a whole lot of details because it's subjective, but some sense of, okay, so ringing in my ears, that happens when I go to a concert. So I don't seek immediate medical attention. I know I've done damage to my ears, so that's probably not an emergency room visit, but what would constitute an emergency room visit?
Well, I would say that you want to err on the side of caution.
Gotcha.
If you think that you might have a significant injury, a visit to the emergency room would probably be appropriate. Burns in particular can seem much less serious than they actually are.
Okay.
And oddly enough, the more serious the burn, the more likely that might be to happen. Full thickness burns, you kill your nerve endings, and maybe it just doesn't hurt very much.
So full thickness is the most serious type of burn.
Correct.
And actually, when I'm not feeling it as much because I got all the way into the nerves.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, some burns can be serious enough that they actually give you kind of an ashy, waxy type appearance instead of, red and blistered.
Okay.
And that can actually indicate, even though it doesn't look as bad, it may actually be worse. And getting rapid treatment for serious burns is important. It gives the medical team the best chance to, take corrective action, and it can impair your mobility. It can impair your function, if left untreated. So, again, err on the side of caution. If you think you have a problem, you might want to get it addressed.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then I got one last question before we get into some simple true-false questions. So, is fireworks safety more than a personal issue? Is it a community issue? And if so, how so?
Well, I believe so. Obviously, the more people that are in emergency rooms, the more crowded they become.
True that.
The less capacity that any given hospital might have to treat the people that are coming in for any number of things. So in that way, it can become a community health issue. You also have people that fireworks and the noise, they trigger PTSD. It can become a quality of life issue for people that are nearby. That everybody's dealing with something that nobody knows about, and you may not know that your neighbors are dealing with this, and that the fireworks are triggering that PTSD. It can have an effect on animals.
Wow, I've seen
animals are often very frightened.
Yeah, sure. Wow. Okay. All right. So simple questions to debunk some myths or confirm some understanding, whatever the case may be. A bucket of water is enough protection when using fireworks. True or false?
It's a start, but false. You want to have some type of extinguishment method.
Okay.
Nearby and accessible, whether that be a simple garden hose.
Okay.
Or a fire extinguisher. I would say that a garden hose is probably the easiest and most accessible, and realistically probably the most effective. You want to have that nearby.
Okay, good. True or false? Sparklers are safe for young children.
False. They're seemingly pretty benign, but they actually burn at pretty high temperatures. 1,200 degrees plus.
That's hot.
Yeah, I mean, boiling water, boils at 212.
212, yeah.
Yeah, so
1,200 is a lot more than 212.
1,200 is a lot more.
And we wouldn't put our child's hand in 212 either.
No, we would not.
Wow. Okay, good point. Most fireworks injuries happen after dark.
I'd say that's false.
Okay.
Most of them, in our experience, happen in the daylight hours.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there's no real rhyme or reason for that. I can't say why that occurs, but in the daylight hours and kind of getting into evening and the twilight.
Okay, maybe a false sense of security.
It could be that. Maybe people are just more careful when it's dark and they can't see as well.
Could be. And fireworks can reignite after the hours after they appear out.
Absolutely, it goes back to what we were talking about before.
Gotcha.
With proper disposal. You may think they're out, they may appear to be out, and they're still hot, they're still generating heat. You put them in a trash can, and before you know it, you have a much larger problem. So again, time is your friend.
Okay.
And, allow them to cool down before you approach them, before you deal with them. And then once you do, sweep them up and put them in a bucket of water and
Good advice.
let them soak and get good and out.
Okay, I like that. So, Chief, is there anything that I haven't asked you about that people need to know about fireworks safety?
Fireworks are a lot of fun, and they're part of the celebration. And
yep.
I would say that as much as you can, try to limit fireworks to go attending professional fireworks displays.
Okay.
There are likely some in your community for the holiday.
Okay.
I would definitely not recommend setting off fireworks yourself whenever possible. But if you're going to, certainly don't hold them in your hand when you light them.
Okay.
And you want to do them away from anything that will burn. That includes people, clothes, pets, tall grass, vegetation, buildings, vehicles.
Got it.
Yeah.
A lot of hazards out there.
A lot of hazards
shooting
out
off
there.
Fireworks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and going to a public display has saved me some money too. It's a win-win.
Absolutely.
Get a better display, spend less money, have fun.
And you know what? If they have duds,
it's not my problem.
They didn't waste their money.
Well, thank you so much, Chief. I really appreciate your time. Thank you all for joining us on another Cup of Joe, and join us next week for another hopefully informative episode. I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.